Back with BNSN, the stock game, but we've also got the Axis Cap conference underway, Investor Meet, where there's a discussion on the retail sector post the FDI norms. Let's go
Part
across.
of the Dubai-based Landmark Group, Max Hypermarkets have now signed a franchise agreement with Group Offshore of France for opening and running hypermarkets in India. The company has 13 operational hypermarkets in 8 cities and will be adding between 10 to 15 stores a year. For the past 2 years, the company has been adjudged the most admired food and grocery retailer of the year, large format, at the Images Food Forum Awards. Prior to this, Vinay has had a leadership position at Reliance Communication for 4 years and also has had a 2-decade-long tenure with Unilever in India and overseas. Finally, but not the least, Pankaj. He is the Executive Director at Inds Banking Division over here. He has had 19 years of experience in various sectors, retail, real estate, and materials. In fact, Pankaj has worked with every single large retail house in India. He's also been instrumental in the recent alliance of Max and the Offshore Group for the hypermarket formats. Pankaj is on the CIA National Committee of Retailers. So let me start the session. We have actually split this up into 4 parts for you. The first one is to address more on the organized retail markets in the landscape. To give you a brief background on where we are like around a $500 billion retail market in India with roughly around $34 billion of organized retail. And this is approximately 7% of the overall market. Now, organized retail market in the last decade has been actually growing at 22% per annum. If we continue with the current growth rate, we'll probably be 20% of the retail market by 2020. Now, the big question is there a bigger story in organized retail going ahead? So let's go on to Kishore Biyani. I mean, you have been the pioneer in organized retail markets in India in terms of the big box format. The key question which I would really like to understand is, do you think that we are still underestimating the consumer acceptance of organized retail format in India? And there's more to expect probably in the next decade.
I think as the economy grows, the GDP grows, the per capita will grow and consumption will happen. And modern retail fuels the consumption of value-added products, new categories, new services. And I believe human nature is to consume more than what they were consuming. So I think it's generally true that as we progress, we'll be consuming more. Whether modern retail will get a major share, yes, because the new retail spaces is getting created and modern retail is playing a role. Modern retail is also playing a role in building new categories. So we don't know the estimate, but if India continues to grow, we should become a $1 trillion consumption economy, in which modern retail will play an important role.
Let me just flip this question over to Bhaskar. You've had a long presentation about the opportunity landscape for lifestyle categories in India. Can you give us a view in terms of what are you looking at in terms of the overall space?
You know, there is a theory about consumption. I'm not talking about retail or products. After you have fulfilled the basic hunger, I believe even the poorest of the poor man or woman doesn't ask for more rice or more wheat. She asks for sugar. It is, I believe, the reality. So you can't, lifestyle is like that. Having crossed the limit, I think we are pretty much in that journey, which is people's aspirations is what feeds the lifestyle business. And I think the moves that we have made as a country between satellite television, globalization, internet openness, transparency, democracy, etc., have created a certain aspiration in the minds of people, which is what feeds the lifestyle business. So this is a large answer to a small question of yours. So as Mr. Biyani said, that is an unstoppable engine. And despite economic downturn, that is, if you have people's incomes not grow, what has happened in the last 10 years is aspiration and incomes have grown hand in hand. So the ability to realize that aspiration has been easy. Now let us take the slowdown period of the last 12 months. Incomes growth may have slowed down, but aspiration, this is a favorite quote of mine, aspiration has no reverse gear. So therefore there is an unfulfilled aspiration, and lifestyle is sitting in that space, whether you call it categories, brands, retail outlets, etc. And I therefore think that there is an inflection point that is going to be reached in India between luxury, premium, mid-market, etc., which we have still not reached. So the opportunity space is huge. That is a basic. How many trillions of dollars it's going to be is going to depend on what we do, not just on what the consumers, how the consumer is going to react. A lot of the responsibility is going to depend on the manufacturer, retailer, brand owner, etc., producer, so to say.
Let's step down to something which is close to the mass market and food. This is something close to your heart. Could you give us an idea of what are you looking at in terms of an opportunity landscape for hypermarkets and supermarkets in India?
Yeah, see, in terms of, I think, the Indian opportunity, there is no doubt, is very large. So if you look at, all the demographics, whether it is population or profile of population, which is, the youth component, or you look at the city profiles, the number of cities which are over 500,000 or over 1 million population, which, the numbers go beyond about 70 odd cities. Or you look at, the growth numbers in terms of, the overall GDP growth, which result in obviously increase in, per capita incomes, and in turn the consumption start going up. And then, so I think, overall in terms of opportunity, one clearly is going to start seeing really significant shifts happening between consumption of, what Bhaskar mentioned, the essentials, and then from there moving to non-essentials. So, I think slowly you will come to this point where the growth of and the impulse consumption of a whole host of non-essentials will start growing at a much faster rate. And I think, that is really going to make the business far more attractive. So in the longer term, clearly, we see the business opportunity as being attractive. And, I think really that is, that is the attractiveness that this business has to offer. And in terms of our own plans, we do have, clearly a national footprint in mind. So we are looking at expanding our business across, all parts of India. We already, as a company, have a presence in 8 cities, which is in the north, the west, and the south. So the idea really is to now sort of grow beyond these, and within these, and beyond these areas. At the same time, I have to also say that, while the longer-term picture looks very attractive, we still have a lot of challenges for the short term. So, I think the way we see the business, in the context of India for the shorter term, there are still issues that we really need to address, and which will remain challenges, I would say, for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And, these are to do with, overall, the current bill values. We get a lot of footfall, so we get a lot of people coming to the store. But the bill values is still a big challenge. The cost structures today, whether it is occupancy cost, or it is power cost, or it is finance cost, or it is our capex for, all the equipment. We import a lot of material, fixtures, refrigeration, customs duties. The local industry really hasn't developed very much in all those areas. So that is, remains a big challenge for us today. The opportunity of scaling is a big challenge, because getting quality real estate today is a huge challenge. And the risk there is that if you make errors there, for a hypermarket business, they can be very, very costly. Just 1 or 2 mistakes, the whole business can get compromised. So, longer term, yes, I think, a lot of opportunity. And I think, this inflection point will come, and we will start seeing that, these bill values will start getting bigger, and with that, we will see that the viability starts looking better, and these very, very long gestation periods that we are looking at today will start becoming more manageable.
Let me ask you a question on the bill values itself, since you've taken this topic up, and this was something which I was going to address a little later on. Is that is it a function that consumers haven't accepted modern retail formats in cities and still are shopping at Kirana stores as in a comfort zone? Or is it a fact that there have been too many retail players in the hypermarket format in tier 1 cities which have actually diluted the bill values on a square feet basis?
See, my belief is that, and our experience has shown, I mean, we've been in the business now for the last 6 years.
Okay, let's shift focus.